So as you see on the screen right now, we have Docker machines listed out. We see that Hyper-V VM1 is active, and we've gone into the use case number 8 with Docker compose MySQL directory, which houses the docker compose.yaml file. And as you can see, it has both the directories, and the docker compose.yaml file is going to look into this directory to create the Java image, and then it's going to use the Java image is going to be built off of the Ubuntu JDK 8, which has the Maven plugin installed, and it's going to download the MySQL image. So let's see how this can be started up. So let's go back to scripts.txt. As you can see, the first command is to do a build. If you want to run the containers along with the build, you use this command, which is docker compose up -build -d, which is the detached mode. You can do this as well. So we can do a couple of things. So let's start with docker compose build just to get started, but it's not required to just do a build. You can also do a run container right away. So let's go into this. Just make sure this is running as administrator. Now this is not a requirement as far as a Mac is concerned. So I'm just going to paste this command. So copy and then paste, and it's going to start building it. As you can see, it's getting it from pictlearn Ubuntu JDK 8. I just copy pasted the subsequent commands. As you can see, I did a docker compose ps, which is going to list all the containers which are starting and stopped. Right now we do not have any. So in order to start the containers, we just do docker compose up -d, which is running in detached mode. As you can see, it tried to pull in the MySQL image from the Docker Hub, and it created the web and the MySQL image, the Java image. So the Java image goes by the name web, and then the MySQL image goes by the name DB. So if you go to the I'm just going to clear. If you just go back to docker compose logs web, as you can see, the connection was successful here. Again, you can tail. So what this is saying is this is going back to the Java program, and then it's basically saying that it was able to connect. So it got out of the while loop. So that's what this means. So in order to run this again, actually you can see docker-compose ps, which is going to give you 2 containers which are running. So one has exited because it connected, and this has got to do with the Java program we wrote up, and the other one is still up. Now something interesting I want to show you is I want to give a docker compose IP Hyper-V -VM-1. So what I'm going to do here is Docker machine, sorry. So when I do this, I'm going to get the IP address of this machine. So what I can do also is to use the MySQL client to be able to connect to this machine directly on port 3306. Now this is being specified by the Docker compose file by exposing 3306. So I'm just going to open it here, and then I'm just going to create a new connection. I'm just going to specify the host name as 187.3306 and this password as root. And then I'm going to first test this connection. I'm just going to specify users as the default schema. If you test this connection, it says it was able to connect it. So what actually happened is the host machine is trying to connect to the virtual machine right now, and it's specifically connecting to port number 3306 on the virtual machine. So this is something which I wanted to show you as well. So the other thing to do here is if you want to bring down the containers, you can just say docker-compose down, which is also enlisted in the scripts.txt. So you might want to go over it. So logs will basically give you the logs. Logs-ft is nothing but tailing the logs. We already went through it. I basically repeated this command here, so I'm just going to remove it. And then you can also log into the bash shell if you do a docker compose run. So instead of exec, which we use in the Docker commands, we will use docker-compose-run. So if you see here, docker-compose ps, it's basically removed all of the required containers. So if I want to just build a specific container, I can specify build web, and it's just going to build the web module. If I want to specify the DB module, I just specify DB. So if there are changes to the Java code, remember that you can use the build command. So I haven't documented it here. I will put in some notes, but basically I'm using this particular command here if you want to build in a specific image. So build a specific image can be done using this command. So if you, let's say you're making changes to the Java code here, you can basically use the Docker Compose build command with the desired service name. And then you can also, if you want, if you wish, you can just do Docker Compose -d. And then once it starts up, just quickly go into logs-fd web, and you should see that it's going to start tailing the logs. It's not connected yet. As you can see, it's going to start connecting. As you see, the MySQL connection was successful. And the reason why this is happening is because of the fact that in the Docker Compose file, we have specified the depends, which means that after it starts this, you're asking the instruction to start this particular container. So that's basically what's happening here. So that's something to keep a note of. Other than that, I think pretty much all the commands here are pretty basic. You can actually stop a service with just docker-compose stop. So you can just say docker-compose stop web, and then it's going to stop the web. And you can again say start web, and it's going to start the web container. So this is as easy as starting and stopping. Now, if you remember the diagram I showed you in the PowerPoint, it's basically everything is a microservice. The web is a microservice, the database is a microservice, and the microservices are listed as services in Docker Compose. And as you see, it's very easy to create images, very easy to watch the logs. You can swap the images. You can do a bunch of things with this. As this is an introductory course, this is just a simple use case to give you access to what is in. So the reason why I try to print the environment variables inside the container is this is mentioned as an environment variable. So if you go into the Java code, as you can see, I'm printing all the environment variables assigned as a part of the Docker file. So in this case, I've assigned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just to demonstrate this, and it is printing that. So the other thing to note is the DB. So this is using DB as the host name to connect. And the reason why that's happening is because of the links. Now, if I specify DB colon MySQL1, I basically have to change this to MySQL DB colon my, and you can specify MySQL1, or you can specify DB. So I'm just going to, I like to keep it simple and easy, and so I'm just going to leave it at DB. Hope you enjoyed this lecture. This is a basic introduction for you to get an understanding to Docker Compose. Just remember that this is specific to the Docker machine. So what I mean by that is if we go do Docker machine ls, you will see that this particular image was installed only on this one right here. In case you want to install it on Hyper-VM2, you will have to do docker-machine, and then you have to specify env hyper-v-vm-2, and then you will need to copy the last command and paste it and run it so that Hyper-VM2 is active, and then you just have to do docker-compose up, and then you can just say build-d. Okay, so you can either do this, and it's basically going to, sorry, it says such service build. I got the command wrong. So the best thing is to use this particular section. So you see up --build-d. So let's try that, and it's going to build the image, and it's going to run the containers. As you can see, it's pulling the image into Docker machine C, now Docker Hyper-VM2, and it is trying to build the database image right now, and it is going to start the Java image as well. So as you can see, it's running, it's creating the containers. It's going to take a while. As you can see, the downloading of images and assembling of Maven is the most time-consuming section as a part of this exercise. So you will need to be a little patient to understand this better. But once you ship an image, anybody in QA, anybody in production can download this image and just execute it as is. You just have to do Docker Compose up, and it will spawn it on whatever virtual host. So the image is ready, and then I'm just going to do Docker Compose logs-fd web. And as you can see on machine 2, it is going to tail the logs, and it has a bunch of other, as you can see, it's connecting to JDBC MySQL database 3306 was a failure. So why did that happen? So maybe I just replaced the / with 1/. As you can see, there's an error here and it's still trying to connect to the database. So the moment you replace it with a / you should be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this process. I'm just going to say docker-compose stop web, and then I'm going to make this change in the Java code, and then I'm going to say docker-compose build web, and it's just building the web project right now. It's rebuilding the web project right now. This way you can make changes to the microservices and deploy only those microservices. So the reason why I forgot the / is just to demonstrate to you that you can just build a specific image of one of the services and then have it deployed to any environment in production or QA or UAT. So we're waiting for this particular task to complete right now. And then I'm going to start up the container again. So I'm just going to say docker-compose up-d web, and it's going to start. I'm just going to say docker-compose logs-fd web. So it's going to hopefully connect to the right destination. As you can see, the connection was successful. So you can use this command to connect to or bring up a specific image. So that's basically what it is. I hope you had a good time listening to this lecture and find it interesting. I would still recommend that you take a look at all of these commands. Now, all of these commands specified in scripts.txt are very important. I'm just going to add in docker-compose up-d, and then you can also specify the service name in case you know which service name you want to do it. You want to deploy. Now you can also remove all of these containers, even though not a part of this exercise. If you do docker-compose down, it's going to remove all of the containers which are running. So, all right. So if I do docker-compose ps, you're not going to see anything at all in the dictionary. All right. So I hope you had a good lecture. I look forward to assisting you as far as these use cases are concerned, either through the forums, but do definitely take a look at it and let me know if you have any questions. I will try to summarize all of this in the next lecture.